Good afternoon and welcome to the Art Coder. Today I'm going to show you how to install MySQL Server on a Windows 11 laptop. Now in my previous videos I've showed you how to configure PHP with IIS, so having a MySQL database would be handy for that. This is kind of like XAMPP but more of a production environment for that sort of thing, and I think it's just a bit. I've used this methodology in production, just with the correct license server, obviously. But if you just want to play about, go to just type MySQL in Google, and the first thing that comes up is MySQL. So you want the MySQL community server, and you've got the install there. So let's just have a look at different options. So what you've got here is you can accept your cookies, accept that. So you've got the 64-bit MSI installer. So just click download, and you don't have to sign up, so don't get confused by this. Just click no, start my download. That's going to download. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video while that's downloading, and I'll join you after it's downloaded and we're ready to install. Welcome back. That's now installed, so it's popped up in my Google Chrome. So click it. Give it a second, so it's going to prepare the installer. It's not much too. So also here it's going to install MySQL Server 8.1 Community Edition. Click Next. Obviously read your license conditions. Again, this is community, so it can't be used in a production environment. So you've got different things here. You've got typical, custom, complete. So if we just go with typical, then you can always tweak it later. So you're going to get a Windows security prompt because it needs to install as an admin user. Click install. Okay, yep, that's because I am an admin on the server, so it may still prompt. Here we go. So yeah, so it's going to check that. So it's installing now. It's copying new files. So it's going through. This shouldn't be too long because MySQL has got a slightly better footprint for installing than what SQL Server. So again, it's installed it there, so we can run the configuration wizard. So yes, you'll get a Windows security prompt, and it's now going to ask you to go through the options similar to SQL Server, but this is MySQL. So configuration type, server computer. So as you're playing about on your laptop, I would recommend developer computer as opposed to server computer or dedicated. But in production environments of the right license type, you'd probably choose other options. It's just configuration it sets up for you. So you're going to leave the default port, or you can change this to whatever port you want. So do next. Right, okay, so now it's asking for a similar to SQL Server setup, it's asking for a root password. So again, type random password generator in Google. Find a password generator. Let's go with 32 again. And do get passwords. And it's always handy to make a note of these passwords somewhere so you've got them for future use. We'll just paste that in as this is a video on this. And again, I think what I recommend is adding the local user. Again, it's going to put that in there. So that's going to be DB admin. Let's just keep with the root for a minute. We can handle that later. I'll show you how to do that. So, okay, so it's going to give you a service. So a service is a sort of always on application. So it's going to run in the background to keep the database running effectively. This is how servers work for things like SQL Server, MySQL, other stuff as well. So you can call this whatever you want. You can just call it MySQL, and it's going to start the server at system setup. So if your laptop reboots or you turn it off and go back in, it will come back up again. Click next. Okay, so for now, just for playing about, we'll give it this option, but I would recommend making sure you use the most secure option on your server. So what this will do is this will put root in there to run the actual server, but you may want to configure other user accounts to do this. That's a topic for another video. So click next. And you've got some default databases. So let's add these in just so we've got something to play about with later on. Click next. Okay, so then it's going to execute. So all you got to do is confirming what it's going to do, and it's going to have a log so you can check its progress when you're going through. So you click execute. It's doing all this now. So it's initialized database. It's usually quite quick MySQL setup compared to SQL Server. I mean, that took ages to install SQL Server. And the difference is in terms, you'd say SQL Server for Microsoft SQL Server, and you'd say MySQL for MySQL. You can say SQL Server is a bit ambiguous between the two types. So once you've done that, click next, and it's finished. You now have MySQL Server installed on the laptop. And if you want to connect to it, you'd need the say MySQL Workbench, but that server is now running, so in theory you could go into it, manage it. You could install PHP MyAdmin on your local PC in previous videos where we set up a website in IIS that's connected to PHP, so you can manage it through there. But Workbench gives you a few more options, and I have used that in the past. So that's it for this video. I hope you've really enjoyed it, and I hope it's covered all those bits that you'd like to know about how to install it. But that's it. That's all there is to it. You've now got a fully fledged database server running on your laptop. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video.